I think I could start with the explanation already. Anyway, usually naman the fourth quarter or the QTR4 ano lang yan, usually minimal lang yung movement. So I don't think we will be able to see an impulsive movement. That the reason why ang tinitrade ko is the second quarter and the third quarter simply because dun lang naman nangyayari yung manipulation or distribution. Ready na ready ka na ba, Toji? I'll start from the start of the QTR. So for those who are not familiar with quarterly theory reloaded, it is a quarterly theory by Dale or by ICT, but reloaded in a different time frame. The reason why it's reloaded in a different time frame because I will only apply the quarterly theory idea in the overlapping session of the London and New York. So the overlapping session of London and New York starts from 8 p.m. in this is Philippine time, 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. So 8 p.m. to 12 p.m., since this is quarterly theory, meaning the overlapping session of the London and the New York will be divided equally into 4 quarters. And since there are 4 hours from 8 to 12 p.m., then therefore each quarter is composed of 1 hour. So 1 hour for the first quarter or the first QTR, the second QTR will be another 1 hour, the third QTR will be another 1 hour, and then the fourth QTR will be another 1 hour. And and in each quarter there are sub quarters. And as you can see here, in the first quarter, I have divided this again into 4 quarters. So if you don't have the indicator yet, you can use the GAN and Fibonacci tools or the specific the GAN box. So if you use the GAN box, you plot it from 8 a.m. or rather 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and then use the following time levels. So since this is quarterly theory, that means you have to divide it into 4 equal parts. And 1/4 is 0.25, 1/2 is 0.5, or 2/4 is 0.25, or 5 I mean, and then 3/4 is 0.75. So if that is the case, then since each quarter is composed of 1 hour, then therefore when we divide 1 hour into 4 quarters, that means in each sub quarter we have 15 minutes. So if I'm going to illustrate it using the date range, this will be 1 hour or 60 bars since this is 1 minute time frame. And then in each sub quarter will be 15 minutes. So in these sub quarters, the idea of XAMD or AMDX can be applied. So what are the legends for the quarterly theory reloaded trading? So for the quarterly theory reloaded trading, you need to remember the following terminologies. X can be a C or XC, which stands for continuation. XR stands for reversal. And then we have the A for accumulation. We have the M for manipulation. And then we have the D for distribution. Basically, the quarterly theory reloaded will evolve on these terminologies. All you have to do is identify whether the structure will be, there are two possible structures here. I don't uh, use other structure, but the basic structure will be XAMD or AMDX or AMDX. Again, where X here can be a continuation or a reversal. I'll give you a tip later on how do you identify whether it's a continuation or reversal. Actually, I have shown you already the my thought process about it a while ago. So going back, so all you have to do is identify, since the first quarter is usually non-tradable quarter in quarterly theory reloaded. So you let the first quarter do its thing, let it finish, and then just identify the the structure of the first quarter. And in this case, you will try to check first the trend. As you can see, the trend where the first sub-quarter started is a continuation, or rather from a downtrend. So basically, if the first sub-quarter here created a new low after from the trend, then you will identify this as XC. And that's the reason why if you will try to look at this, the first quarter will be identified as X, or can be identified as XC or A, or accumulation. Of course, it depends on the manipulation. Uh, Whether there will be a manipulation after the first quarter. So here, here in this particular illustration, I have identified this as A, and then we have the M, the D, and the XC. As you can see, there's no clear manipulation here. That's the reason why, one of the reasons why, one of the possible reasons for you to identify this as accumulation, because during the accumulation, there's no clear manipulation. So that's one tip that I can give you in identifying whether the start is accumulation or an X continuation or an X reversal. So if there's no clear manipulation, you can assume and confirm it later that the first quarter with no clear manipulation will be considered as an accumulation. Then after that, you will see here that the the after the first quarter, it created a new low. Just like what I have said a while ago, before I started with the QTR analysis or the quarterly theory reloaded analysis, I check first if you did if you were observant enough a while ago. I started by checking the Elliott wave count since I'm an Elliottician, and then after that I checked the trend. After checking the trend, I have confirmed that the first quarter is still under the continuation of the trend. So therefore, I initially thought of it as an XC. So the A here will be considered an XC. However, however, after in the second quarter structure, if you were with us a while ago, we started with the second quarter with the manipulation to distribution. Actually, I was a bit late. I was trying to make it fast, checking the Elliott wave counts and the trend, and then I have noticed that this is a clear manipulation already. What? How did I know that this will be a manipulation? So what I usually do is I will label I will label using the price note the highs and low, the high and the low of the first quarter. So here, if we will the high, I'm not referring to the swing high or the swing low. I'm referring to the QTR high or the QTR low. So this will be um the QTR1 high. Let me label it. QTR1 high, and the other one will be the QTR. This is the QTR low. QTR1 low. So that's my usual practice is I will identify the QTR1 high and the QTR1 low. And then after that, if if the QTR1 low gets broken, like this one, if we if we break the QTR1 low, then obviously the the first subquarter of the QTR2 will be considered an A or an X C, just like what I have, an A or X. That's the usual start of a any subquarter or any quarter. It's either an X or an A, and this will be confirmed only after the second or the third quarter. Now, this initially you can consider it as XC, but it created a new low. Then there's a possibility that this will become a manipulation. So the next thing that you're going to do is identify the low of the first subquarter. So this is the low of the first subquarter. Sub QTR1 low. So this is the low of the sub QTR1 of the second quarter, which is at 2,360. So just let it just let the price action do its thing, and then wait until the first quarter or the second quarter uh, closes. Once the second quarter uh, sub quarter, I mean, is closed, then it went up again to that sub QTR low, then we can consider this in as a possible sweep of the QTR1 low. So if that is the case, here you can already make a decision whether you're going to take this as a manipulation and or a possible distribution up. So how do I check whether this is a possible reversal or a valid manipulation? The the tip is you check the statistical SMT or even a simple SMT. So if I think that this will be a manipulation, then there should be a QTR or an SMT QTR transition. I repeat, there should be an SMT QTR transition. So from either here to here or here to here, there should be an SMT. Now let's check whether there's an SMT that happened here. I repeat, if you think that this is a manipulation, there should be a QTR SMT transition, an SMT QTR transition. So let's check the let's check the silver and compare it with the chart of gold. So you would like to check whether there will be a QTR SMT transition here. So therefore, you can use a line and then look for a possible SMT here and here. So this is increasing while this one is this decreasing. Therefore, there is a an SMT. If you want to validate whether that SMT is statistically valid or not, you can also add a CC or correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient. Wait. Okay. And then make sure to use silver as your symbol. And then after that, all you have to do is check if the strength of this correlation between the gold and the silver is at least zero point 0.6 above. But if you want an A plus setup, it should be zero point 0.8 above. So what I usually do is use the price label and then I will check the pivots of each of the identified SMT. Just like what I have said, just like what I have said, an SMT will only be valid if and only if the strength is at least zero point 0.6 above. In this case, although the second pivot the second pivot is just around 0.8 14 or 18, but one of its pivot is above. So this is actually a 50-50 strength. Uh, Although it's still valid, but it's just 50% because the other pivot is not actually zero point 0.6 or zero point 0.8 above. So another way to confirm this is by using a divergence. Let me just use my um personal indicator. Sorry. So make sure that you use the silver. So here, another confluence that you can use is by using divergence. Divergence trading has been used by so many traders, and until now, many are still using it for trading purposes. So first, let me put a vertical line here to check the pivots of the possible. Of course, once you are used to this, you don't need to actually label. Since I'm trying to explain it to you, then I should label it for you to be able to understand it. Now in now in divergence trading, of course, we have different types of divergence. It can be hidden, it can be regular. There's what we call exaggerated divergence, and we also have the normal, the exaggerated, and the hidden. So in this case, we can also consider this as a possible hidden divergence because the price, the oscillator or the RSI is increasing while the price is decreasing. So although the correlation a while ago is 50-50, then the tiebreaker would be the use of the RSI. Once you get used to this, you don't need to label it. So for the correlation coefficient, it's 50-50, 0.8 above, and the other one was just zero point 0.9. Now to break the tie, all you have to do is use the RSI for a possible confluence. Now that we have confirmed that you should be quick here because remember that in each the S the QTR transition or the sub QTR transition is just 15 minutes each sub quarter. So you should be quick in checking whether there's a valid SMT or not. And then after that, once you are done checking, now we have confirmed that uh, there's a 50% chance that the strength is high, while the RSI confirms that there is a hidden bullish divergence. Therefore, you can take this trade. Now, once you have identified that there is a valid SSMT or statistical SMT, then just like my entry model, you can use the previous low, sub QTR low as your entry. So here, I'll use the sub QTR low as my entry, and then after the manipulation, the low of that manipulation will be your SL. Since this is QTR is for scalping, then therefore your long position will look like this. The entry point is the sweep of the sub QTR low, and your SL would be the low of the manipulation. So what will be your targets? The targets will be the following. The first conservative target will always be the the highest price of that quarter. In this case, the highest price of this quarter is the high of the sub QTR1. So this will be your first conservative target. And this will give you at least 1.83 risk reward ratio. Not bad if you are scalping. Of course, you should make sure that you can with this 5.26 pips SL, your capital can take this possible risk. So that will be your first target. The second target would be the high of the first quarter, or you can also use the sub QTR's high and low. But in my case, my first target will always be the high of that current quarter, and then the second target will be the high of the previous quarter. Okay, I repeat, my targets would be the high of that current quarter or the high of the previous quarter. So here, if you take the high of the current quarter, then you will get a 1.83 risk reward ratio. If the high of the previous quarter will be taken, then therefore you will get a 4.05 RR or a 21 pips gain. So if you're using 0.1 lot size here, then therefore you will be gaining around uh, 200 USD. If you're using a zero point 0.1, for example, for a small account, whatever will be the reward here in points will be the USD equivalent if you are trading with 0.01 lot size in the standard account. But in this case, the most of the time, or many are asking, will you close your trade, Sir Jack, or will you continue it? My practice is I will always close my position right after the quarter. So for example, if the quarter is about to close, then I will also close my position. Why? Because this is for scalping purposes. I initially I initially planned this for scalping purposes. Then therefore, if I'm going to catch the AMD of each quarter, then therefore I should close it within that quarter as well. If you will consider that, then you should have gained at least 9 if you close it at the high of that current quarter, and if you close it on the closing of that quarter, you will be getting at least 12 to 13 pips. So that's how I do it when it comes to sub QTR trading. Now, after this, the reason why I was able to identify the next structure, as you can see here, after confirming that there's a valid SMT or statistical SMT that happened here, then as you can see, I created, or rather I projected or forecasted uh, a distribution up. Why? I waited for a candle that will break the manipulation high. So in this case, uh, the second quarter will be the possible manipulation. So if I'm thinking of AMD as the structure, then therefore the high of that manipulation should be tapped. So before, if you will try to look at this one carefully, I did not forecast right away that the next structure, QTR structure, will be distribution. I waited for the candles to break that high of the manipulation before deciding for a possible distribution. So from here, what did I do? Since from a distribution to X continuation and it created a new high, therefore, this new high here will be considered as continuation of the previous trend. The previous trend is going up, or this XC is from the distribution to XC or X continuation. Since it created a new high in the first quarter right away, then therefore this will be considered as continuation. basically or simply because it continued the trend of after the manipulation. So from here, I was able to forecast the rest of the quarter. So I waited for a confirmation in the first quarter to sweep the high of the previous quarter. Now that I have confirmed that it the first quarter of the first sub quarter of the third quarter is continuation, then basically I know that the next possible structure will be AMD. That's why, just like what I have said a while ago, we wait for a manipulation to happen in the distribution before we do a trade. And then after that, it was confirmed that it created an XC here or X continuation, and then it created a new low. This is a confirmation. If you will try to look at the timing, I always wait for a candle to break the high or the low of the previous sub quarter or quarter. So I saw that the low of the first sub quarter of the third quarter was tapped or was tagged. Then therefore I created a new screenshot because it's confirmed already that it will be an accumulation. Then after that, since the structure was forecasted early, we know that a manipulation will happen. So since this is accumulation, we I expect that there will be a manipulation. The manipulation usually will either sweep the high of the first quarter or the high of the previous quarter. It was already confirmed that the high of the previous quarter was swept by the XC here or the first sub quarter. However, what I was my bias, personal bias a while ago is that I'll wait for it to sweep the high of the first quarter, and that's one of the things that I need to journal for today because I forgot that there was already sweep of the first the high of the second quarter here. So therefore, the swap that I should be looking for will be the swap of the first sub quarter of that particular quarter. And in this case, this should be my snipe EP or snipe entry for a possible manipulation. And then initially, I can use the QTR1 high as my initial SL. And then I will just adjust it accordingly depending on what will be the high of the manipulation. However, what happened here is that the high of the manipulation, sorry, the high of the manipulation was just a very small one. If I'm going to use this, it's less than 1 pip, just a 0.76. And imagine if no one will believe me if I will take a trade like that. My setup is 0.26. Of course, if I'm using a seconds or a premium trading view account, that is possible. It can be seen in the seconds time frame. However, I'm using a free trading view account. Then taking a trade with this risk uh, will make some doubts if ever I will do uh, a before and after trade. But if I'm going to do it uh, realistically, then what the thing that I will do is it will be I will initially set my SL within the QTR one high, and then I'll adjust it accordingly after the end of the manipulation stage. However, the end of the manipulation stage here created a good price to trade. That's the reason why I was not able to take this, because as you can see, there was no test of the sweep here. You can't see any test. That's just around three candle manipulation, and it will be hard for me to take that trade, especially if I'm online. If I was alone taking it, then probably I would have just pressed the market sell and then set the SL right away within the price of the QTR1 high. And then after that, we expect that we expected that there will be a manipulation. However, in this particular screenshot or bookmark, uh, one of my advantage would be being an Elliotician. Although I trade using the QTR, there are times wherein I need to rely on the power of the Elliott wave theory. And in this case, I know that the counting before I created this one, I know that the counting was 1, 2, and this will be the possible third wave. So if there will be a retracement, the retracement should be above the, I think I did not save that, the QTR, or rather the bullish flood. The bullish flood will be the scalp flood will be the high of the first quarter here. This will be my bullish flood, and then my bearish flood would be this one. And if we will notice, um, who was the one who asked the question a while ago? I can't remember. I think it was Wild. It was Wild who asked the question, what's the purpose of that red line? And then I answered that it's actually the bullish first line of defense. So in scalping, I use the following terminologies: bullish scalp flood for the wave 1 price and bullish scalp flood for the wave 2 price. So in this case, if I'm going to use Elliott wave theory, this will be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then possible will be wave 5 here. So the reason why I put this line before the wave 5 even happened, or before the wave 4 even happened, simply because as an Elliotician, I know that the invalidation of an impulse third wave would be the price of wave 1. And then it will become a diagonal if it will overlap the territory of the wave 1, but will not go beyond the territory of wave. However, even if you're not an Elliotician, you can still trade this, of course, by using SMT, or statistical, what do you call this, statistical smart money technique. So if you want to find a possible long position here, if you're still bullish, for example, or you know that this is manipulation, then you're expecting that it will go up or it will create a new high, then therefore look for a transitional quarter, sub-quarter SSMT. I repeat, that's the tip that I can give you. Look for a transitional SMT, sub-quarter SMT. So find an SMT here that will give you a possible entry. In this case, we can consider this as our possible SMT. So if this is your SMT, if you since this is scalping, then therefore the invalidation of your statistical SMT should be the pivot, the first pivot of your SMT. So in this case, if if this will continue to go down and it breaks this pivot, the first pivot, then therefore the SMT that you have identified will be invalid. So since we saw a good bounce from here, then therefore this will be a valid SMT. Remember that in the QTR trading, you are scalping only. So you have to practice checking these things without actually labeling it. Because if you will label everything before taking a trade, then most likely will not be able to trade it. Just like what happened to me a while ago, since I was trying to explain it virtually, I can already see a possible statistical SMT, the possible confluence, since my eyes are already used to it. But for since I was live, or I am live doing it for the members of this community, I need to label it, or else you will not understand. I can simply just put the long, if I really want a signal only, I'll just put a long position tool or a short position tool, and then you will just copy. And that is not what I want. I want you to become independent traders. As a member of my community, I want you to become independent traders in the future. I do not want you to be be dependent on the signals coming from me, or the signals coming from your co-members. I want you to, as much as possible, I want you to try to understand what we are trying to share, and then before taking the trade, make sure that you understand the reason behind the given insight, or if given insight or signal. So from here, we saw a manipulation that was expected in this forecast, or QTR forecast. However, I was not able to take it, because before I even started, I already have a bias, and that's one of the things that you should remember. That was my mistake a while ago. I already considered a sweep of the QTR1 high as my possible entry, but I forgot that there was already a sweep of the second quarter high. So that's one of the things that I need to remember in my next QTR session. And then after that, as you can see here, I put a two possible, since this is A, M, D, then therefore I am expecting an X for the fourth quarter. It can be an XC, or it can be an XR. Now, based on my explanation a while ago, what will be my basis will whether I will consider it as XC or XR. It depends on this particular high, the high of the third quarter. If we break this high of the previous quarter, to be specific, rather the distribution high, then the fourth quarter will be an XC, or an X continuation. But if we see a reversal, or it will respect that level, will not even tag or break it, then therefore we will consider it as an XR, or X reversal. Look, I have even put a reminder here that if we tap this, we do AMD up, else AMD down. So let's see what happened. in the actual chart since the QTR phase 1 already finished. As you can see, there was no top or the distribution high or the third quarter high was not top, then therefore we will not label it as XR or rather XC. Instead, we will label this as XR as stated here that you will only consider it as XC if we top this price of the QTR3 high. But if not, then it will just be considered as XR. So then what will be your expectation here? So if there was no swept of the previous QTR high 1 or rather QTR high of the third quarter, then the AMD, the possible structure would be A M or AX or sorry XAM, then we have the D. But or simply you wait for a possible manipulation. Here this can be considered a manipulation. Let me just check it carefully if there was a manipulation in the second quarter. There was no manipulation in the second quarter, then therefore this will be considered as X, A, M, and D. So that's the summary of the QTR session for today. Hopefully you did have now a better understanding of the quarterly theory reloaded, simply because I don't usually talk during QTR sessions. And as you can see, you will probably understand why. Because when you are doing QTR trading, in every sub quarter, there's 15 minutes each, and then in every quarter there's 1 hour. So sometimes if I will talk and then while doing the labeling, perhaps you as the audience will be able to take the trade, but in my case, I will not be able to take it because I am busy talking and I am also busy plotting it. So hopefully, next time when you see a green price note, that's a possible entry, or it's either an entry or a target. If you see a red price note while I'm analyzing the market, then that's a possible SL of the possible that will be a possible SL of the a possible SL of us the given setup. I will just ask to, Toji to send me the link as usual from the Google Drive. I'd like to thank Toji for doing this. Uh, of course, first and foremost, uh, he will learn from it, and then second is that uh, he can review it, and then of course with my go signal he can share it. But if without my go signal, he has to respect it. Thank you for. I did not check the just like in Blue Guardian podcast on my hosting. I don't usually check the what do you call this, the chat while I'm explaining, yeah, to make sure that there will be a continuity of my thoughts. But I'd like what I like what Wild did. He quoted me, there should be an SSMT during the manipulation time window of the QTR. When checking SMT QTR transition, there's a question from Toji. When checking SMT QTR transition, is checking if it's statistically acceptable, necessary, an option? Yes, if you really the the purpose of checking the SSI empty is to increase the your level of confidence, because statistically speaking, if it the both the pivots of the SSMT, it will be zero point 0.8 above, then that could be considered as a plus setup. If not, just like what we saw a while ago, it's just 50%, I mean, because one is above zero point 0.8, while the other one is just 0.19 or zero point 0.2, then therefore you need another confluence to just to break the 50-50 uh, correlation. If the CC is 50-50, then use the RSI. Thank you for that answer, Wild. Mm. It's okay, Kimura. You will see more of this, especially for those who are under my link. I'm sorry, Toji, I did not see this question of yours a while ago. Can you repeat your hack in identifying easily if the QTR sub QTR is A, X, C, or M in the off chance my screen went blank? Okay. It's basically the first quarter is either an A or an X. It will be an A. The usual that's the initial idea. It's either an A or an X, but that will only be confirmed after the second quarter. If in the second quarter, if the manipulation is confirmed by checking the statistical SMT, for example, then uh, if there is a valid statistical SMT in the manipulation stage of the second quarter, then therefore you can consider the previous quarter as an accumulation. But if there's no valid, for example, there's no clear manipulation that happened in the second quarter, it's just it's increasing sub quarter or decreasing sub quarter, then that increasing sub quarters or decreasing sub quarters with no actual manipulation will be considered as an A. I repeat, if in the second quarter there's no clear manipulation that happened, then the first quarter would be considered as an X, and the second quarter, since there's no clear manipulation, you will consider it as an accumulation. And then there's a high probability that the third quarter will be a manipulation. You're welcome, Akochado, Picasso. Congratulations, Picasso. One RR secured. Very good. You're welcome, Toji. Thank you as well for saving or recording this session. As always, you're all welcome. Wild, Illumi, Scorpio, Jesse. So perhaps after I forgot to upload actually the my session with the Blue Guardian in my YouTube account. I was too busy checking the market. in the past days because I'd like to start with my copy trading, especially for those who are still trying to learn how to trade. We have the guide already. Perhaps if there will be video, I understand that not all traders learn from just textual or pictures. There are people who learn fast when they see a video of it. Unfortunately, I'm not a full time influencer. I never consider myself as an influencer. I consider myself as an educator. Even before I started this community, I I have been consistent. I do not want to be an influencer because influencers influence, educators educate. Influencers usually are, of course, they will post educational content with uh of course I will not be of course we understand that the purpose of posting sometimes for influencers is for them to gain money, me for sharing or for educating. If I will be uh if I will get any passive income from educating people, why not? Of course I will accept it, just like the partnership that I have accepted from the Vantage. So if you are under my link, especially now that we have the circular coming from the SEC, although I seldom analyze crypto market in the Philippines, we are there. The CASP is something that will that will limit those calls or influencers or crypto influencers, especially that I don't think there's an international platform or crypto exchange platform that is uh, with sec with sec uh, license. Most of them are coming from forex, like for example XM and the of course our partner Vantage. There's a question from Looney. Looney or Loney, or I'm not sure how do you pronounce that. Third, I'd like to ask about the sub QTR2 of QTR1 as to why it's a manipulation. Are you okay, sub QTR2 of QTR1. Just like what I have said, if there's no clear manipulation, I I label this as AMDX, but actually there's no clear manipulation, and that made what made me decide that this is not an XC or an XR, but an accumulation. Why? Usually in the accumulation stage, based on my data, the accumulation is a quarter with no clear manipulation. As you can see, there's no clear manipulation here that happened. That's the reason why I labeled it as accumulation. But the AMD here will not be the correct will not be the correct structure. I just put it for the purpose of realizing whether I will decide whether it's either XC or X continuation or X reversal. It will only be considered as XC or X reversal or X continuation if there will be a manipulation. But since there's no manipulation that happened in the sub quarters of the first quarter, then the the structure should be an accumulation. Yeah, that's the tip that I gave you a while ago in the explanation or the summary. Crypto lang kasi CASP is crypto. I forgot the the acronym CASP, but the C stands for crypto there. Advantage is a commodity or forex exchange platform. Yeah, that's correct because influencers influence, educators educate. You're welcome, boss. I'd like ano, to personally thank Boss for the how would I describe it? Aggressive marketing. Even though perhaps other people would think na binabayaran ko si Boss for the marketing. No, it was her own decision to market the my under my link or the Vantage IB link, and then as well as to increase the number of Vantage surfers for me to open my copy trading. Mhm. Para siyang campaign manager ko. I'm sorry I come late, but thank you so much again for sharing your invaluable experience. I always learn something new each time you stream, and your way to explain it very clearly. It's hard to transmit knowledge. Not everyone has a pedagogical spirit, but you got it. Thank you for the kind words, Kumura. So I get that. I guess that. Thank you, everyone.